Very good morning, students. So I hope you are clear about index numbers chapter. I mean all the 5 mark, 10 mark as well as 1 mark, 2 mark frequently asked questions and how those are to be calculated. So today in this video I would like to give you the brief about from frequently asked questions vital statistics chapter, right? Especially 1 mark and 2 mark. Already 5 mark, 10 mark PJ sir might have discussed in his videos. So this is just 1 mark, 2 mark frequently asked questions. Here I have written some set of questions, totally 11 questions I have written. How the question will be asked, that also I'll explain you. At the same time, how answer has to be written for that. Both the things we shall discuss in this video now. So let us start. The first thing, sources of vital statistics. How the question will be asked, that also I will discuss, and how the answer should be written according to the mark. Both the things we shall discuss today. Sources of vital statistics. How the question will be, mention any one source of vital statistics, or mention a source of vital statistics, or what are the sources of vital statistics, for 2 marks if it is asked. Right? Now, what are the sources? Hospitals, government offices, panchayat offices, municipal corporations, etc. So these are the sources. Remember, sources of vital statistics. Mention a source if it is asked. Any one of all these 4 can be written. Hospitals, government offices, etc. But see to that any one of these 4 has to be written, means don't stick on yourself with only one term. I mean only hospitals writing, that way you don't stick on. If it is asked for 1 mark also, preferably you write 2 alternatively. Clear? So even if it is asked for 1 mark, mention a source, I mean single source. Better you write 2. No, there will be like nothing will go wrong in that. So there is no hard and fast rule that you have to stick on with one single term, one single source. If it is asked source, you write at least 2. Okay, don't stick on yourself by writing only one source. Minimum 2 you write it. All the 4 writing is also fine, or any 2 writing is also fine. If it is asked for 1 mark, 2 mark, generally it compensates exactly 1 or 2 like that. So all the 4 you remember, these are the sources of vital statistics. Second question, the same way methods of vital statistics they'll ask. There in methods you cannot restrict yourself only by writing 1 or both. You have to write registration and census both compulsorily. Methods means you cannot restrict yourself only by writing 1. So you need to write both the methods of vital statistics. One is registration method and second one is the census enumeration, or census method also can be written. Next, see here hardly they will ask define vital statistics. What are the vital events? You know what is the definition of vital statistics? Numerical records, analysis and interpretation of numerical data of vital events which occurs in human population. This is the definition of vital statistics. At the same time, what are the vital events? Births, marriage, sickness, divorce, right, death. All these are vital events which occurs in human population. Study of human population is nothing but a demography. Remember, these are all like very rarest questions. Define vital statistics. What are the vital events? What is demography? 1 mark questions only. All these are 1 mark questions. Remember, definition and vital events as well as demography. Right? Now, coming to the third one, use or 2 uses of vital statistics. How the question will be asked is like, mention any one use of vital statistics. Mention a use of vital statistics, they'll ask, or mention any 2 uses of vital statistics. So what you are supposed to write? So exactly you have 8 points from the uses. Better to learn all the 8. In that 1 or 2 minimum will be remembering at the time of examination, right? Better all the 8 only you learn, you observe, which is very easiest ones, like I have written on the board generally to remember easily. One I have written there is a medical research. What exactly it has to be written? They are very much useful in medical research. Vital statistics are very much useful in medical research. Second one, demographic research, I have mentioned there. What it is, how it has to be written? They are essential. Vital statistics are essential in demographic research, useful in demographic research. And the third one, actuarial science. You know, study of incidences, we call it as an actuarial science. They are used in actuarial science. Clear? So vital statistics are used in actuarial science. See, totally we have 8 uses. I'll just give you the elaboratively all the 8 uses. Out of these 8, these 3 are very much simple. That's why only the simplest ones I have written on the board. Remember, uses of vital statistics. They are of great use in planning and evaluation of economic and social development. That is one use. Second use is they are very much useful for government agencies, for administrative purposes, etc. like that. And another thing is like they are very much great useful in international point of view, and they are very much used in to access the impact of family welfare programs. So this way, like many are there, 8 uses are there. Out of these 8, I have mentioned on board 3. Generally it won't be asked for 5 marks, but learning all the 8 points is mandatory, required, everybody from the textbook. Out of these 8, 1 mark and 2 mark question only it is possible to ask. Use or uses, any 2 uses of vital statistics this way. So that's the reason, to remember easily, only those 3 important ones I have written. All the uses are very important, but easily we can remember these 3. Medical research, demographic research and actuarial science. So medical research means what you have to write, it is very much useful in medical research, and it is very essential in demographic research, and it is very much used in actuarial science. So this way, in a simple way, all the 3 uses can be written. Next, coming to the 4th one, I have written the formula. Everybody remember this formula, right? Measurement of population in between 2 censal years. This formula must be used. PT, population at a time t, equals to P naught, population of previous census year, plus B minus D, number of births occurred minus number of deaths occurred in that year, plus I minus E, number of immigrants. Immigrants in the sense who had come to our country, immigrant people, minus number of emigrants. Emigrant means who left to other countries. So this formula by using, you can calculate the population in between 2 censal years. Like every census year, we know the population of India, right? Population we can observe every censal years, once in every 10 years. But in between, if you want to calculate, we have to use this formula, measurement of population, that is PT equals to P naught plus B minus D plus I minus E. Once or twice I remember in 2 marks the problem is asked to calculate using this formula, but not like every time asking, and every paper this question may or may not be there. Remember, it is just chance of asking is only just 10 to 20%, that's it. But you have to learn the formula, and how to calculate also you should learn. Calculating means it's very simple. P naught will be given directly, all the terms will be given directly, the numericals. P naught will be given previous year census year, population year, previous year population plus previous census year population plus births minus deaths plus immigrant minus emigrant. All these things will be given in the question. Just you need to calculate the current population at a time t. That's it, using this formula. This is used for measurement of population. That is question number 4. I hope all the first 4 questions are clear. Source of vital statistics, hospitals, government offices, panchayat offices, municipal corporations, etc. Methods, registration and census method, and use of vital statistics, medical research, demographic research, actuarial science, etc. and then measurement of population, pt equals to p naught plus births minus deaths plus immigrant minus emigrant. Clear? And coming to the fifth one, merits and demerits of CBR, CDR, ASDR, ASFR, TFR, GFR and STDR. See, almost all the methods they have asked. One or the other paper, definitely 90% chance of asking merit or else a demerit of out of these methods. Remember, CBR, CDR, ASDR, ASFR, TFR, GFR, STDR also. So merits and demerits also, they are very much useful and very much important. Remember, see, out of all these, one common merit I'll tell you. What is that? It is simple to understand and easy to calculate. Most of the merits, this point is a common point if you observe from your textbook. Merit, I am talking about merits, advantages. CBR, CDR, for both these, the common merit is, it is very much simple to understand, easy to calculate. This one, remember, it is simple to understand and easy to calculate. This is the common merit of almost all the methods if you observe. Hardly like CBR, CDR means that is the common merit. First I am talking about only CBR and CDR. The common merit is, it is simple to understand and easy to calculate. Remember. Next, the second merit means either for CBR or CDR, whatever it is, it does not need the detailed information for computation. The second merit, what I am speaking. Actually, CBR and CDR, what you are calculating, the overall births by overall population or overall deaths by overall population you are calculating, right? So here you have not bifurcated any kind of like sex decompositions, age decompositions, nothing of that sort in CBR and CDR. Overall you have calculated. So the merits and demerits, how it will be? First point, as I said, it is simple to understand and easy to calculate. The first merit of both the methods, CBR and CDR. And the second merit is, it does not need the detailed information for computation. Remember, for computing these two methods, detailed information need not be. Remember always. So detailed information need not be taken. Next, generally if you see in CBR, the third merit, it indicates the rate of growth of population due to live births, because CBR we are talking about birth rate. So what we need to write one more merit? It indicates the rate of growth of population due to births, live births. Wherein coming to CDR, what is the merit? Tell me. It indicates the rate of decrease of population due to deaths. Their rate of increase, growth, because CBR means birth rate increases day by day, right? That's the reason population is increasing. So there what you need to write? It indicates the rate of growth of population due to live births. Now CDR, it indicates the rate of decrease of population due to deaths. Deaths means population decreases, births means population increases. This common thing if you remember over. One indicates the increases, CBR, due to live births, the population increases. Second one is population decreases due to deaths. So I think these are the merits of CBR and CDR. Now coming to demerits of CBR and CDR. What are the demerits? Common demerit between these two is, as I said, that it does not need detailed information. Detailed information means no age composition or no sex compositions. So that only as a demerit you write under both these methods. That is, it ignores the age and sex composition of the population. True. So both the methods, it ignores the sex and what it is. It ignores the sex as well as age compositions of the population. Next, in CBR, what is another merit? In CBR I am talking about births, male and female. Generally births means usually we restrict ourselves with considering female population, right? But here in CBR, crude birth rate, it takes both men and women population into consideration. Only in CBR, remaining all the methods, only female population will be considered in all the fertility rates except CBR, crude birth rate. It considers both male and female population to calculate the CBR. Remember, even CDR also, what is the demerit of the CDR generally? The overall figure which does not give importance to age and sex distribution of the population, that is a common one, both demerits. Second one is it cannot be effectively used for comparison of mortality, I mean death. So CDR cannot be used for comparing the death rates of different populations. Remember, comparison cannot be done because detailed information you are not considering, at the same time age, sex, compositions also you are not bifurcating accordingly. So that is the reason it is not much effectively used to compare the death rates of two different populations. Remember this. Clear? So I think these are the merits and demerits. Even CBR also, there is one more common point between CBR and CDR as a demerit. I'll tell you. As a demerit, what is the common point between these two? Both cannot be used for comparing here birth rate and here death rate of two different populations. So common things I'll tell you. Merits, common things, simple to understand and easy to calculate. This is a common merit of both. Second thing is it does not have required detailed information for computation. This is also for both it is. Right? Merits. Coming to demerits. Demerit means both the methods does not consider the age and sex compositions. And one more common is both cannot be used for comparing the birth rate here and there comparing the death rate there. That's it. Clear? Now coming to ASDR and ASFR, age specific death rate, age specific fertility rate. Now age specific birth rate, let us see what is the common merit and demerit of ASFR and ASDR. I mean age specific death rate and age specific fertility rate. First thing, as you all know that merit. It is simple to understand and easy to calculate. This is a common merit. Everybody can write this common merit commonly. Next one is in ASFR, I mean age specific fertility rate. The common merit is, one more merit is, it can be used, I mean it considers both age and sex composition of the population. I think both the methods, this is the common merit, right? It considers age composition of the population, both the method, because the heading itself it is there, age specific death rate and fertility rate, right? Age specific death rate, the common merit is it considers the age compositions both, but wherein ASFR it considers along with age even sex also, female population we are considering. Clear? Only female population in ASFR. But ASDR, there is nothing of that sort, male and female, common population it is. Am I clear, guys? Now coming to demerits of ASFR and ASDR is, same, ASDR, it cannot be used for comparing the death rate, and there ASFR, it cannot be used for comparing the fertility rate of different populations. Clear? Next, coming to merits of TFR and GFR. Merits of TFR and GFR, total fertility rate and general fertility rate. So general fertility rate, if you observe, there also the common merit, simple to understand and easy to calculate, that's a common merit, and it considers only female population of the childbearing age. GFR, remember, it considers the female population of childbearing age. What is the childbearing age of women? 15 to 49, and that period we call it as a germination period also. The 15 to 49, the childbearing age of women 15 to 49 is called as a germination period or childbearing age. Both are one and the same. Clear? Now another merit of GFR is it considers the sex composition of the population and also age compositions. Obviously, even TFR, the main merit is it is used for comparing the fertility rate of different populations, TFR. Right? Now, demerits of GFR. it cannot be used for comparing the fertility rates. GFR cannot be used for comparing fertility rates of different population, but wherein TFR, it is a merit. Remember, it is used for comparing the fertility of different populations. At the same time, both these methods, I mean, like first GFR, let us see. GFR does not indicate the rate of growth of population due to births, because it is based on a part of the population. Remember, it is based on a part of the population only, GFR. That's why it couldn't indicate the rate of growth of population due to live births. Am I clear, guys? Next, coming to TFR demerit is, both these methods, even TFR also demerit, it does not indicate the rate of growth of population, because fertility rate means only you are considering female population, but we are ignoring sex of the newly born baby in TFR. Okay, population increasing means even it depends upon whether it is a male birth or female birth. If female birth means definitely there is a scope of again new birth, newborn happens if it is female birth, right? If it is male birth means again there is not possible thing. Clear? There is not at all a possible thing here. Again, if entire population has only male births means where the population increases, just think about it, right? At the same time, if entire population has female births means without male, population increases but not max. Remember. Now coming to the last one, STDR merits and demerits. STDR, the main merits are, it is very good measure of mortality, giving importance to age groups. So without ASDR, STDR cannot be calculated. Remember. So ASDR is very much useful for computing STDR. Remember, that is the main merit. And it can be used for comparing the mortality of two different populations. Generally, death rate, when you compare the death rates of two different populations, how can you decide yourself which population is, having very good healthy population? If the death rate is less, then only it becomes healthier. Remember. Now, these are the merits and demerits. Demerits of STDR is, it depends on age structure of standard population. Unless and until you select the standard population, STDR cannot be computed. This is the major demerit, disadvantage of STDR. So, standard population is required mainly. Next, question number 6. Fecundity. What do you mean by the fecundity definition? The capacity of a woman to bear children in her womb. The capacity of a woman to bear children, that is called as a fecundity. Next, question number 7. All the formulae. So they'll ask, write the formula of ASFR, write the formula of ASDR, STDR, CBR, CDR, GFR, TFR, GRR, NRR, IMR, NMR, MMR. So all these formulae are very, very important. Remember, learning this formulae will help you even in the problem calculation. Okay, so every time we mention that all the formulae writing is very much essential. So it carries 1 mark in any problem from vital statistics. So formula writing always carries 1 mark. Without writing the formula directly, if you calculate, definitely you will be ending up with less than 1 mark. Minus 1 mark only. Whatever the mark it is. If it is asked for 1 mark, 0. If it is asked for 2 mark, only 1 you will get. If it is asked for 5 mark, only 4 you will be getting. So you will be losing 1 mark undoubtedly without writing the formula. Next, coming to all the definitions, like what is cohort, radix, longevity, mortality ratio, survival ratio, life table definition, right? And then uses of life table, expectation of life. These are all the main definitions and frequently asked one or the other from this 8th question. All these singular definitions. Remember, what do you mean by cohort? Number 1, a group of individuals who are born at the same time and having experienced the same mortality condition. We call it as a cohort. Now, coming to radix. So what we are mentioning, a group of individuals, that group. So the size of the cohort, we call it as a radix. Generally 1 lakh population we consider. Next, longevity. What does it mean? Longevity or longevity, anything like pronunciation, anything can be done. So longevity is nothing but expected number of years that a newly born baby would survive, live. Clear? What do you mean by longevity? The expected number of years that a newly born baby would survive. That is called as a longevity. In other way also the question, see, how long a newly born baby would live or survive. That is only the meaning of longevity. Definition is expected number of years that a newly born baby would survive. Next, coming to mortality ratio and survival ratio. These two things you might have observed in components of life table, X, QX, PX, DX, right, LX, all those components we have, right. There, if you have observed QX, small qx, that is called as a mortality ratio, small px, that is called as a survival ratio. Now, ratio, whenever they are saying that it is within 1 means the probability should be taken, always remember this way. So what is the definition of mortality ratio? The probability that a person of exact age x will die before reaching age x plus 1. Probability of a person having age x who die before reaching age x plus 1. Okay, so will die before, like who in the sense, like instead of who, will die, we'll say. So x person, that person's probability of dying before reaching age x plus 1, that itself is a mortality ratio denoted by qx. Generally you know the formula, dx by lx, right? Qx equals to dx by lx. This we call it as a mortality ratio. And then coming to the survival ratio. What do you mean by survival ratio? Here also the same thing. There, how the mortality you said dying, here the survival means living, you should tell. The probability that a person of age x survives till, up to age x plus 1. Clear? Mortality ratio means the probability that a person having age x will die before reaching age x plus 1. Survival ratio means the probability that a person at age x survives up to age x plus 1. This is called as a survival ratio denoted by px, that means 1 minus of qx. Now what do you mean, what is the definition of life table? It is a tabular presentation of numerical data describing the mortality condition or experience of a cohort. That itself is a definition of life table. I repeat once again the life table definition. It is a tabular presentation of numerical facts describing the mortality experience of a cohort. Cohort means, you know, group of individuals who are born at same time and experiencing the same mortality condition. Now coming to uses. So generally these uses, sometimes they may ask even for 5 marks also. 5 uses we have in your textbook. Or else 1 mark, define a use of life table, or define any 2 uses of life table, 1 mark, 2 mark. This way the question will be asked. But learning all the 5 is very much required, essential. First thing, life tables are used by life insurance companies to determine the rate of premiums for the policies of different ages of different people. So right, so that life table chart, life insurance chart. So and so, age, if you die, this much amount will get. So that way deciding well in advance the amount, how much you are going to receive, the insured amount. It is used for the measurement of growth of population in computation of NRR. Obviously, so in net reproductive rate, it is very much useful for computing, right, the rate of growth of population. This life table is very much useful because there you are calculating the survival ratio of women during childbearing age, right? Next, third thing, it is used for estimating the future population. Obviously, when you are finding the life table, the lifespan of so and so new birth, either it comes to plants or it comes to humans or animals, whatever it is, depending upon all the components like X, living, dying, probability of living, probability of dying, total years surviving, what is the expected year of surviving. So everything you calculate, definitely you will come to know the lifespan of so and so thing. In Rajmohan textbook, on cats, the table has been given. If you want, you can see from Raj Mohan textbook in this life table concept. So fourth use, it is used by the government and private organizations in planning healthcare, retirement age, educational programs, etc. When to start and when to end, everything will be decided. It is used for analyzing the effects of mortality on age and sex compositions, definitely. So these are the 5 uses of life table. Next, expectancy or expectation of life. This is the last component of life table, generally denoted by EX. The average number of years a person of age X can be expected to live under the prevailing mortality conditions. Average number of years a person of age X can be expected to live under the prevailing mortality conditions. That itself is a expectation of life. Next, 9th one, why NRR is always less than GRR? If it is, what would you conclude? See, generally, as you all know that individually if you observe GRR, so in GRR means main thing what you are calculating, the female births by female population during childbearing age we are calculating in specific age groups, under the specific age groups, that is 5 summation WSFR, women specific fertility rate. How ASFR you calculate? Okay, number of births in specific age divided by female population in that specific age, particular age, multiplied by 1000. But WSFR, how you are going to calculate? 11th question also I am covering now only, just see. WSFR, how you are going to calculate? The female births by female population during particular age, that is 15 to 49, childbearing only always. In that also again specific age wise with quinquennial age. Remember, quinquennial means the magnitude, the width, the interval width would be 5 generally. That too inclusive type of interval it is. 15 to 19, 20, 24, 25 to 29, this way. So generally the width would be 5. That 5 gap, I mean 5 width or magnitude, we call it as a quinquennial age group. So 5 summation WSFR. There, what is a major mistake, I mean disadvantage of GRR? We are ignoring the mortality of women during childbearing age 15 to 49. We are totally ignoring that. We are just under the impression all the women survives from 15 to 49, like who are giving birth, in vice versa, like this way the GRR we are ignoring it. But wherein NRR we are considering the survival rate also we calculate. 5 summation WSFR into SR, survival ratio also we calculate. So when we calculate the survival ratio, obviously when we ignore survival ratio of women in GRR, GRR value will become higher and NRR will become lower, right? So that is the reason whenever you calculate together NRR and GRR, NRR value will always be less than GRR. Remember, if it is less than GRR, this conclusion has to be written, like GRR less than 1 means population decreases, GRR greater than 1 means population increases. But when we calculate both together, GRR and NRR, if NRR value is less than 1 and GRR value is greater than 1, as you all know that GRR value will always be higher and NRR will always be lower. So when we compare together, here the conclusion should be written, the population decreases. Remember. Clear? Next, difference between CDR and STDR. This is one more question. So you know CDR and STDR, the differences. What is the first difference of CDR and STDR? Tell me. There in CDR, population, common population will be considered as weights, but wherein STDR, standard population should be considered as weights. Next, coming to CDR, one more point, it cannot be used for comparing the death rates, CDR, but wherein STDR, it is used for comparing the mortality, death rate of different populations. And the third point is CDR requires less information and STDR requires more information. So these are the differences between CDR and STDR. And you know the definition, just now I have explained GRR and NRR, just go through that. So these are the frequently asked questions Okay, without fail, everybody thoroughly you do it without fail. All these questions are very, very important questions, even for the final examination and also for the upcoming test. Clear? So with this, I'm going to wind up the vital statistics 1 mark, 2 mark questions. Hope you are following all these videos. Definitely these videos will help you even for the final examinations. Remember, all the frequently asked questions, we are like in the previous question papers, what all repeated questions and what all frequently asked questions, either for 1 mark, 2 mark, 5 mark. This way we are going to explain all we have explained in these videos. Kindly follow. Hope everybody is doing great. Okay, thank you.